Okay, today we're going to show you where all the numbers are located on a Polish Radom VIS FB model. This is actually a, if you look at it closely, it's kind of a cross between a high power, how the barrel lock slide works, and a 1911 safety, and actually the feel of it. It actually feels like a 1911. The weapon was designed in 1935, or it was actually introduced to the Polish military in 1935. It was supposed to replace a revolver they used at the time. Now this is one of the very first ones built under German occupation, so most of the parts have a great finish on them. Very slick operating weapon, and these were made over leftover parts that the Poles already had built before the Germans occupied the plant. Of course, there's 6 numbers on one of these that make sure that it's all matching. You have the slide, the barrel, the receiver, the mainspring housing, the safety lever, and the hammer. All are serial numbered to the gun to make sure that its fit is precise and as it was put together from the factory. Okay, today I'm going to show you where the location and how to get to all 6 numbers. Of course, this is a Type 1, a 3-lever, one of the early ones made. Later, they made them 2 levers where they made the decocking lever into the takedown lever, and they just did away with 1 lever. I'm sure it was just to speed up the process so that they could make more guns in a quicker period of time. They also stopped the machine finish to the most extent, and the later ones were very rough. Okay, to take it apart, the first thing I'm going to do with any weapons, I'm always going to make sure that the weapon is unloaded. This one is unloaded, so I'm going to take the decocking lever, the takedown lever, slide it back to where it latches in the back latch of that, flip the weapon over, pull. The slide stop pops right out as soon as you pull on that one. Release the takedown lever. Let the slide off. Now to see the serial numbers on the barrel, of course, I flip the recoil buffer spring over because it's got what looks like a horseshoe shape in it that fits down on top of the barrel. Flip it over, it'll pull right out. Set it off to the side, remove the barrel, and then on the barrel right here I can actually see the last 3 digits of the serial number stamped in there along with the Waffen acceptance proofs. And this barrel, of all things, this barrel is in extremely good condition. This entire weapon is, other than a little bit of finish wear from holster, and this one did get a lot of use apparently. The serial number for the slide, which is a little more difficult to see in this one, you're actually going to find right inside these grooves. Now you'll see them in several different places. This one happens to be right here. I've seen them stamped on the edge here. I've also seen them in rare occasions stamped up on the outside of the top of the slide. This one does match, of course. Now to get to the last 3 numbers, of course we've already seen the lower matches, I have to remove the grips. Always make sure to get a screwdriver that fits the screws. You don't want to leave all your screws all banged up and looking like they were taken apart by a monkey. Take the grip screws out, and these are Bakelite grips. You don't want to over tighten these, especially as they've gotten older. They're extremely fragile, so over tightening them can crack them quite easily. In fact, one of the biggest problems you see is usually where people have over tightened them, and you'll find cracks from the screw holes. The grips come off relatively simple. Wipe some of this excess oil off while I've got it apart. Now, to take out the mainspring housing, the first thing I want to do is I want to slowly control the hammer and release the hammer. So I pull the trigger, pull the safety, and I let the hammer go all the way forward. What that does is that takes all the pressure off the mainspring housing. With the pressure off the mainspring housing, you're going to find a pin right here, and I'm using a little precision screwdriver. Just about anything will work to do this because there isn't much pressure on these. Push it, and it'll just push right through. There's the pin. Take the pin, set it off to the side. Now to get the mainspring housing off, usually just take and push right there, push down. You'll see it just walks right out. And right there, you'll see the serial number of the gun stamped on the side. I've seen it in several different locations on these. This one just happens to be on the side, and that's where the majority of them are. Set that to the side. Now the next part is a little bit tricky, and this is where you want to be careful because these takedown levers are pretty fragile from what I've seen in the past. It's a really thin machine piece of metal. You want to lift up on the edge of it just slightly, just enough, because it's got a ball on the back side to where it clears, rotates all the way up, and then pulls right out. Now if you look at it close, you'll see that it has a pin on it, a lineup pin. That's why it has to come all the way over, and with it out of the way, you can actually see that there's a key so that it lines up, and that's how it goes in. Now with that out, pull that up out of the way, your safety lever comes up and out, and right on the back side of this one, you can actually see the numbers on the safety lever. Now it doesn't have the A, but it has the last 4 digits of the serial number on it. On the later models, you'll actually see it stamped on the sides to where sometimes you don't have to take these out to actually read the serial numbers on them. Of course, to get to the last piece, that's the hammer. On the Type 1, the hammer pin simply pulls right out. Pull the hammer up and out of the way. And right there on the side, you'll see the serial number. And it is the full serial number. And it's that simple to take your Polish Radom apart to check all the serial numbers on it. And if you want to watch my other videos, I'm going to show you in just a minute how to put it all back together.